Live from the Backstretch at Saratoga, this is the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.
I'm not a big hour by hour weather guy, but what did you say? We lost the fourth race?
Yeah, so just a little bookkeeping before we get started. It's good to know. Race 4 off the turf today. Race 6 moved to the melon turf. I would think they're going to tell us it's good. I don't think they'll run 4 or 5 races on yielding turf. But the turf's going to have plenty of gift to it today. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, it has been our family goes to the Outer Banks usually around Independence Day. It was beautiful down there, but since we've been home, boy, I tell you one thing, I turned the sprinklers off around July 1st or 2nd. I don't know when I'll be turning them back on because there has been rain the vast majority of the days. There haven't been too many rainouts because I've been able to play some golf, but I mean, considerable rain, and they'll be given the course, which, you know, I kind of suspected, and we'll play into the handicapping. But just, you know, last year as we were doing this and grateful to do it, boy, I'll tell you, I couldn't describe how lonely's not the right word, but
it was weird.
It was so weird. You know, it just listless life. It was impossible for me to enjoy it, which I guess maybe is the best sentence, and today is going to be just the opposite. And it truly goes to show you that if you're not the type of person to realize and enjoy what's right in front of your face, then you should now have that recognition.
I didn't go last year.
I did not either.
We had access. I know Seth went over several times, and Seth is much more of a clubhouse or a press box, presence than I am, or you are for that matter. I didn't go last year. It felt different. It felt weird. Honestly, it felt unexciting to just be there in kind of a hollowed plant arena, so to speak. And so I didn't, but coming in today, and I was in town last weekend, there's a vibe here. There's no doubt. Last weekend felt like it was Travers weekend. Today, I'm sure there were people, you know, walking in as I came up Union Avenue today to get in, and it's. So I just think,
and it is great racing, but it's the people. I mean, it's the energy that we.
Card today's great.
You know, we love, and one of the reasons, you know, we're not in the press box. I mean, it's the people and walking around, and the, you know, there's so many people at Saratoga that are in a good mood at the racetrack.
If you can't have fun out here, then you're doing
you have to check something else out. So it's wonderful that the people are going to be here this year. Remember, if you're fully vaccinated, you get in for free today. 40 days of racing, a Thursday kickoff. I mean, it's so odd. I said this last year, and you know, opening day was my birthday, which I never thought would happen in my life. Mm-hmm. The British Open started playing this morning, which
1:35 a.m.
Yes, on peak, which I never thought would happen in my lifetime. These are all things that, you know, if you're my age and have been coming to the races, you know, usually about August 1st through the 3rd it started. Now here we are in the middle of July. What did we open on? July 11th, 2 years ago? I think that was the early date.
Yeah, that sounds
because
about right.
Because Labor Day was like the first or something, and
Anthony and I'll be on Race Across America too at
yes.
10 a.m. So we'll talk some shop there too. But just quickly, obviously, all the grade ones, the Travers, certainly the highlight. The Travers is shaping up to be must-see TV as of at least right now. We know how much things can change. But the Whitney looks like it could be great, and then certainly the other one we wanted to mention,
Jockey Club Gold
Cup. I just wrote it down.
Okay.
I want to make sure I mentioned that. We mentioned that on RAA, but the Jockey Club Gold Cup. If you're not in the loop or you missed that, the historic Jockey Club Gold Cup will be run here closing weekend for the first time, and they've swapped out the Woodward, which will go back to Belmont. And I was on the other day with Seth. We were ironing out the kinks up here. Last Sunday I was on, and I quoted you in a sense where I remember you said, it was probably maybe 3 years ago.
Oh yeah, I know where you're going.
We're getting to an age
where
are we prepping for the Breeders' Cup at Saratoga? And that age took about 3 years, maybe 2 years, because it's kind of sort of here.
It's happening.
It's amazing that the mile and a quarter Jockey Club Gold Cup will close down. Will turn into, I think at least, the signature event closing weekend. Of course, you have several other grade ones, the 2-year-olds, but that is a race of all races, and it'll be here now. And there'll be horses that win/run well in that, and see you at Del Mar.
Yeah, right. It's a sad truth.
Flower Bowl too.
Yeah, that's the nature of it. And I just quick synopsis on basically how things crazily change. And 30 years is a long time. But in '92 they started having the Super Saturdays where they changed the NYRA schedule in the fall, and there was 2 of them, and all the races kind of the Matron to the Frazette, the Futurity to the Champagne, on and on and on. And then it got to the point where they only needed 1. And one thing I will say about the flip-flopping is I think it's good on multiple fronts. One is the Whitney at 9 and the Woodward at 9, it didn't seem to really do a lot for me.
You ran the same race twice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now you have the mile and a quarter Jockey Club Gold Cup up here, which is a good starting point.
It's a progression.
Instead of on the middle of the turn at Belmont Park. And if you're going to run the Woodward, the 1-turn mile and an eighth, I always kind of liked that. Mm-hmm. In my lifetime, some scintillating performances down there. Go Zapper and St. Liam in the 13 and 14 path.
5-horse Woodward.
Beating Cigar? Or was that? No, that was the Jockey Club Gold Cup the year before when he was a 3-year-old.
Yeah, 97, Woodward, when he really got rolling, Free House, and beat 5 other horses, and it was just, I remember the running line comment was about his business. It was just awesome.
And he was,
so
that's
it's exciting,
big change, and I think that's you saw it coming. I'm not a genius by any means, but it's sad. I think the first horse was that I remember Richard Dutrow Jr. had Boys of Toscanova, I think, in the
he ran second in the Hopeful, straight out to
Mo, and he's like, I'll see you at the Breeders' Cup. I'm like,
right.
Who does that? And then you just could see it evolving, and I think we're unfortunately at that doorstep.
Yeah, and they've done a great job in the past, I'd say 5 years, really kind of amping up closing weekend, which used to be, for the locals, and I think it's much more, still good attraction. Maxfield's the one I wanted to mention in the Whitney, Brendan Walsh and Godolphin pointing him for that. I saw he was ranked number 1 this week. I don't know
Pretty good his last effort.
Yeah, he was really good his last effort. So that the Knicks Go got back on the beam. So the Whitney certainly looks awesome and exciting. Diana kicks the Grade 1 season off on Saturday. Just, a lot to look forward to up there. Yeah. It's just as simple as that. And we've got a Grade 10 race card today. I thought, I texted my good buddy Wayne the other day, and I said, how do you think it's going to go up here? We've got 11 in a 2-turn entry-level allowance race on the dirt. You think it's going to be any good up here this summer? That's a race that usually gets 5 or 6 horses. And we're buoyed this year by the fact that Churchill kicked everybody out because they're reconstructing their turf course, and now barns that were, they were here in the past are much more full force numbers up here. I know Brad's been up here, but he's got a much fuller string than in the past, and a lot of those Kentucky guys, Tom Amos, are here in full force, and this is going to be, it's going to be a heck of a racing product this summer. I don't think there's any question about that. 12 in the Sanford on Saturday. I think Dave Grenning said the most, I think, since 1992. So
check that out. Dave said most since '92.
Don't quote me on that.
That's okay.
Sent the tweet out, so Dave would have it right. Point being, 12 in the Sanford to kick off the 2-year-old,
which is great,
stakes series for the Colts. I thought the Schuylerville today, which we'll talk about in a little bit, came up exceptionally strong with depth and competition. So get used to it up here, and kudos to them for only having to take one race off the turf today. I think that's awesome too, because as Anthony alluded to, and anybody that's watching us right now is, in theory, in and around the Capital District. You know what's been going on here the past 5-7 days. So the fact that we only lose one race off the turf today, with 39 more of these days left, is pretty great job by the crew. So you want to get into it? 105?
I have the years we were double digits. I don't have 12 listed, but Uncle Vinny won in a field of 10 that I have. Listen, these are just my stuff, and that was
Todd and Rapoli, right?
That was a sketchy takedown.
I'll look for it.
Put up.
I'll look it up.
11 with a Fleet Alex. Now, caveat there, that was the year.
Oh, that was the last one he mentioned. So
that was the year that I think the Hopeful was run on the. That was a weird. I don't know. I'll get off that subject. But I have 11. Maria's Mon beat in a field of 11, and Mercedes won in '88. A field 11. My field in '92 was 10.
Biggest field in at least the last 30 years. 12.
It's the 11
in 204.
It's the biggest since
11 in 95.
My notes go back to 1984, so that's 37 years, and he'd be right there. So absolutely,
that's pretty good.
We've had 11 a couple, 3 times, as my notes have it, and never having 12. And not that it matters to everybody, but 14 in the Oceanside tomorrow at Del Mar, which is just about a record.
I'm in mid-season form already because someone texted me last night, who do you like? Any strong plays tomorrow, meaning today?
Yes.
And my answer was, what day is it?
Yeah, it is mid-season form. One year, the Oceanside was split 3 ways.
I do remember that. 3 ways?
Yeah, 07.
I remember a couple years.
It was like 17 straight years of being split division, and then 07 went to. So are you ready? I'll introduce the odds. You go to the
105.
That's it, baby. Claimers 12-5, and one of the things we mentioned is didn't like last year they started like a mile and 3/16 or 2 years ago, but they start in front of the fans, which I like, which has not always been the rule of thumb here.
No, that was always a Del Mar thing, correct?
That is a Del Mar thing, and they're going a mile, which is 2 turns. I love that they do that here. Yes, and that's great that not starting on the inner turf or someplace, or starting at 7 furlongs,
on the backstretch,
but right in front of all the fans. And
yes,
there will be all the fans today.
Well, I know you got a replay for Racing Across America, and so I think I'm doing the same thing as you are. I'm actually channeling my inner Mormino because I'm way out here. But Luis Cardonas won the first race of the meet last year, right?
Yes, he did.
I'm going to give one sheet selections, as always, on the website, updated on Twitter, all that good stuff. But I'm going to speak for my partner because I know he did see it the same way. This race has got a ton of speed in it. Which is supposed to. Thank you. 2-4-5-9-7 for me, and there's very few horses that want to come from off of it. And Playwright's one of them. And you look through all these PPs, and Dominic Schettino's kind of, I'd say maybe the last 18 to 24 months, he's kind of rebounded a little bit, which is great because, back in the day, 10, 12, 8 years ago, well, he had some good stock, and he had some good run. He had those Brooklyn Boys horses and stuff. He kind of went away. He's got it back a little bit. And Playwright, you look through these PPs, he's never run 2 turns. And today he's going to do it. He's going to get plenty of, as Anthony alluded to, theoretically, plenty of hitting up front. He's got good races. He ran a 5 on the sheets, 3 back. That's probably going to win this race. He's got an 80
I didn't know that, but I remember a 5. That usually wins 12 5s.
It usually does. And he's going to be a big number. And if nothing else, he might pass some drunk soldiers in the lane, but he's going to be running on. And I think that's a good thing. In this race, normally I don't want to be too far back 2 turns on the main track. In this one, I'm okay with it. Wagon Boss, I'll let you, I think, no, Wagon Boss, I think can settle a little bit as well. Charlie's Archangel in the mix. That's other Diodoro, we'll call him, but I think you're, where are you going?
Well, Grit and Glory.
Who's I've got fifth and is a must use.
Right, and for me, Playwright is like fourth and fifth. It's like, it's just about, I mean, you look at races and, Grit and Glory, just on his own, doesn't jump off the page. I mean, I know he won the opener last year, and I presume he would be in line to become the first horse ever to win the meet opener more than once. I mean, now I have one for you.
That's a good one.
We opened up the meet with a claimer one year, and that horse that won the race went on to win a Grade 1. Now, I will say this. It was the highest price claimers we generally run here. But he won the claimer.
What year?
And then it's unfair to you because it was before you got into it. He won the Grade 1 when you were into it. Kiri's Clown won the opener in 92, and then in 95 won the Sword Dancer.
Over Alwad.
0 for 13 in stakes after that Sword Dancer. But he won I think it was a claimer 100,000 to kick off the 92 meet, which, by the way, also was the first day the tabloid edition of the Daily Racing Form was in the East Coast. So, but I just thought Grit and Glory, this time with Manny Franco, it's the way the race shapes up. We have the same type of horse, Wagon Boss, Charlie's Archangel, under who sort of, and I agree with you also. I think Wagon Boss is going to be able to settle probably whatever position Joel Rosario wants, whether it's the rail with the Moisture Racetrack, I don't know, but I trust Joel Rosario. But I just thought Grit and Glory, it's going to get, I'm just projecting that, the drunken sailor angle when they get to about the 8th pole, that Grit and Glory and about the 5 path can just pick up the pieces. Obviously at 8-1, that certainly attracts me even more. And I have the Charlie's Angel, the other, as you said, Robertino Diodoro's horse, and then Wagon Boss. So 7-5-4. But as I said, for a race setup, I think Playwright and Grit and Glory, sets up well for them.
Agreed.
I don't think anybody's gonna.
The aforementioned Dave Grenning, who is
waltz away
as on the ball as anyone. Couple key notes here. We'll talk about it later, but Happy Soul is the heavy favorite in the Schuylerville. She's out, and my pick, Pipeline Girl, is also out. So we lose major firepower.
How's that pick 5 going?
In that, it blows up a little bit.
Yes.
Now. I mean, she was going to be something to 5. So Happy Soul out. Pipeline Girl also out. That's the 3 and the 7 in the featured ninth race. So we think
maybe
the Schuylerville.
Tommy Amos is scratching multiple.
Yeah, we'll talk about that shortly too.
Another one.
Early pick 4 time in race 2, and we get to see the first of the split division for the 2-year-olds.
The track. I mean, what?
I don't know. That's a temperature for Happy Soul. 103 temperature. That's
not
big
good.
stuff. So
not for a horse.
These are the gals. 2-year-old fillies, a snappy 5.5 on the main. You got to say that now.
Yes. 4-8-7 for me. I see you left Mr. Amos off your tag. I just had just a feeling that he was coming. They're leaving Kentucky. That he had some sharp runners. I thought this would be one of them. The workouts indicate it was ready. I love Twirling Candy as a stallion, and Microbio Me. Tyler Gaffleone, first-time starter. I think there's half the field, more than half the field, 5 of the 9.
Joe Politi is a doctor, by the way. So
what?
Joe Politi is a doctor, by the way. So maybe, I don't know.
Do you know him? Or you
I met him this winter at Fairgrounds. Very nice gentleman.
Well, good luck. That's good. I think he has more than. I think I came across his name more than once today.
Well, he owns a lot of those 3-year-old fillies with Tom. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's always good to know. The board will have some information. I wasn't going to be for Speedometer, and just, isn't in my mix here and could win here. Just a couple things. I thought inside in that Churchill Downs race was, I think his trip was pretty good and ran 30. He could certainly improve for Steve Asmus. He's on the outside. Penny Saber, who was the chalk in that race, I thought was a suck-up second. But Speedometer and Pretty Birdie, I think she drew we'll get to her later. Yeah. She's on the rail, right?
Yep.
In the Schuylerville later on today for the Mary Lou Whitney stables. which is great to see at Saratoga. So I just was like, I'll take the first turf, and then the other first I wanted was Frosted Oaks, Joel Rosario for Belmont and Offspring of Frosted, and then one of the 4 horses that have started a 6-furlong race, number 7, Zamuda for Ken McPeak.
Which I think is a big deal. I think that's, gives you a lot of foundation.
Oh, okay.
6, yeah.
Okay, just because we time everything. One of the disappointments, that's unfair. One of the things, like as you get older, you say those were the days, that there have been no 6-furlong scheduled maiden special weight races for the juveniles at NYRA before. We had one, I think, on closing day because it got rained off the turf. But, a very long-time friend of mine used to say he didn't really pay much attention to the 5 and 5.5s with the babies, but when they started going 6,
which I totally agree with.
He dialed in, and I think that the 6 furlong, I'm glad you picked up on that. I kind of glossed over that. But I think that is important. I think that is a big separation in horses.
I got it 9, 8, 7, 6. The 9 is a full to nitrous. Steve Asmussen, typically, I think they do pop at first asking. They get better, and I love this post.
Second asking, or was the chalk and got beat at second asking?
He was pretty precocious, though. You look through this race because we're going to talk about the 5th in a little bit. I didn't see there's not a lot of pedigree in here whatsoever. Right. So as Anthony mentioned, check the board. 8 Frosted Oats is a half to Peace and War, who won the Grade 1 Alcibiades. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. It's a terrible race.
I will say this: a horse that
9, 8, 7, 6.
intrigues me in here is 6 Seduce. For one of the reasons is it's hard for me to imagine that there's ever been a second quarter mile in thoroughbred racing 25 and change on the dirt, on a fast dirt surface. I mean, I watched the race a couple times. And of course, how do you not like the intermischiefs? Now, here's one for you. Can you name the 2 Kentucky Derby winners in those silks? 2, not 1, but 2.
Stone Farm?
And in the same decade. And I'll give you another one. At the front end of the decade and at the end of the decade.
Probably before my time.
It was, but one of them you're going to know. The other one you're not going to know.
Go ahead.
Sunday Silence, Gatto del Sol.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, okay. All right, on to the 3rd. We got to move it here.
Yeah. We have a mile on the turf, inner turf. Entry-level allowance, 6 figures.
I know, it's great. The purses are huge this summer, which is awesome and great to hear. The 2nd for the 2-year-olds, $100K. The 3rd here, an entry-level allowance is $100K. Man, I think it's great. This is a tough race for me. 3, 6, 9, 7, 10. It's a spread race. Smile Brian is tactical, is inside, has big sheet figures, is almost borderline lays over this field on figures, and I love Luis Saez. Give me.
Then there's no way he can be 10 to 1.
No,
right?
he'll probably be half of that.
Okay.
It's Orlando Nadeau. We know how good he was up here last summer. He kept on keeping on at Belmont. Doesn't necessarily like to win races, Smile Brian, but I like the trip he's going to pull. Give me 6, 7 to 1. I thought this was a very solid field, in 3 of the favorites, if not the 3 favorites, are all exiting the maiden special weight ranks. Tread very lightly there. I've got number 6, Point by Me, in 2nd on the stretch out for Eddie K. Certainly, number 9, St. Joe Lewis can win for Chad, but boy, why? I mean, he's 8 to 5, and he might be 8 to 5 because he'll be bet for these connections. He's no faster than about 8 of them in here, and he's facing winners. And if you didn't get 25 on Treason last time, don't go to the funeral at about 5 to 1, 4 to 1, because
5 to 2 in the morning.
Yeah, that's I don't understand that, but
I see, similar in that it's wide open. St. Joe Lewis has been 9 to 5 in both career starts to date, and might be lower than that today. I took the first time.
I looked at this horse. I will admit, I looked at this horse.
Skyro, to me, more than ready, is going to go down as one of the most underrated stallions because he's produced middle distance runners on turf, which is kind of a yawn for the upper elites. But boy, I'll tell you, also I always have said, maybe one of the greatest 2-year-olds ever before August 1st, and hard spun on the bottom side. This is why I want to take a first-time turfer. Draws well in here going the mile. I think Manny Franco getting him out for the first time should be able to get a good position in here. 15 to 1 on the morning lines where I want to go. I have St. Joe Lewis. I mean, he's a player in here. And I have Gussie Mack, who is making the second start in the United States, but the last start in Europe was in October. I think he's been here a long time, so I'm not worried. I draw the hedge in here. I think it's a wide open race, 4-9-1. Very interesting race. The type, as you know, because to me, I see it from a gambling standpoint as a Mount Everest race. Even though Treason's 5-2 on the morning line, I think there's one horse you have to beat, and they're very beatable.
First break of the season on the
As
Handicappers
sun gets
Report.
sunnier.
3 down, 7 to go. When we come back, stay tuned.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Where's the best place to find your favorite teams, your favorite food, daily drink specials, and wagering on live horse racing? Legends Field Sports Bar, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Get your game on day or night with 75 flat-screen TVs, tournament-style pool tables, a private banquet room, and live horse racing. So if someone asks you, where's the best sports bar in the capital region? Tell them Legends Field Sports Bar, inside the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Brian and Anthony with you on opening day 2021, and what a difference a year makes. Great to have everybody back here at Saratoga. It's going to be a huge crowd today. The people are streaming in already. Get here early if you're coming. The weather looks like it's going to be great. We mentioned at the start we're off the turf here in race 4. The mosquitoes are back too, so everything.
Stop wearing shorts.
So everything is back to normal.
It is a little humid.
I did have a comment there, but I'm going to let it go. So we're off the turf here, as we always joke, Anthony and I. It's not only handicapping the race, it's handicapping who's going to stay. So we'll get through this one quickly. It is a starter allowance now. Fillies and mares 3 and up will go 1 1/8 miles. Older horses. Correct?
I mean, yes. In my opinion,
these are turf runners, so we'll go dirt runners here. You said MTOs. 10-5,
7
6
furlongs.
for me. They cut back to
7 furlongs.
Oh, it is.
On the main track. I thought with the elders also at a mile 16. Now, to me, if I'm handicapping this race, and I'm my first thing is who's staying in. I think the 1 and the 10.
No, 3-year-olds and older, 1 1/8. Yeah, 2-year-olds only cut back.
Oh, okay. Why'd they put that in there? Yeah. I thought that the 1 and the 10 would stay with the 2 MTOs. I don't have much confidence in any of the other turf horses are staying in. They seem to have to, and Colada's Run, who now at a 1.8 miles, draws inside here with John Velasquez. It's right on the program from last summer at Monmouth Park at 7-10, lost, but ran well on the off-going. That's where the Declaration of War, boy, I'll tell you, he has been a solid stallion. Big Bad Diva I think, is going to stay, winning by a pole down at Tampa and off the turfer, and then Gem Key. So to me, but I like Colada's Run in here going 9 furlongs, so 1, 10, and 6.
We both liked her on the turf. I've got a 10-5-6. Big Bad Diva, as Anthony mentioned, will certainly stay in here. Outside attack post for Safi, so I think that bodes well.
Yeah, so that's it. On to the 5th race. We got the 2-year-old maiden special weights again, 5.5 furlongs, and we think, it's not official, we think it might be at least 1 scratch in here, the field of 10.
Yeah, we think Tom Amos's horse is coming
Mom's got to run.
Mom's got to run. Now, this is a split division of race 2, so you can,
boy, we used to say that a lot in the 80s.
Check them out.
90s. It's good to see.
See what happens. This is also, now this is important, this is the return of the $1 pick 6. I don't want to say the return because it used to be $2 up here. But that is awesome. I golf clap for Naira. They brought it back at Belmont. I think it will be huge up here this summer. I think it's kind of like a $100,000 type of bet, and that means if it carries over, which it's very apt to do with a dollar wager, we're talking 5 to 750 the following day, and that's a big deal for me. 6-7-3-5. We mentioned I didn't think there was a lot in race 2. I think there could potentially be a lot in race 5, at least on paper. It's way better, way better. The 6, Solasta for Jeremiah. They paid a lot of money for a Golden Sense, and it's not surprising because this filly's a half to Mia Mischief, who's done such good work for Steve Asmussen. Irad is here, bullets in the holster. We know Jeremiah loves winning up here. You're going to get the best you can get from Solasta today. If it's good enough, we'll find out. Echo Zulu. This is a gun runner. They've been very precocious for Steve Asmussen. And he would know that because he trained gun runner. And the bullets, nice bullet here. His main guy, Santana's here. A little gap in the work. I know he shipped up from Churchill, so maybe it's not that big of a deal. But you see it there, June 22nd to July 7th. We're outside here. I think that's a good thing. Lady Scarlet, I guess, is the horse to beat for Brad Cox, and Brad's going to have a big summer up here. This gal's fine. She's going to have to run better than that to win today.
Well,
Experience is a big deal.
I think the big thing is that the 3 and the 4 have experience, but to me, it's Echo Zulu gun runner. Who, well, I got to tell you something. When he comes up for the Hall of Fame, I'm going to have to. Boy, he turned out to be something more than I thought. I will say you don't have him on the mix. Repealing, who now draws the rail.
Your guy out.
Intrigues me very much with Joel Rosario. Golden Sense, even though a 2-time winner in the Breeders' Cup, probably a much better stallion as a son of Into Mischief. It's been very good. Almost as underrated as a stallion as he was winning those 2 Breeders' Cup races.
Yeah, I don't really think anybody really remers that, to be honest.
No.
It's a weird Breeders'
The mile.
Is it 2 turns?
The
one turn?
yeah.
I know they were 2 turns with him, but what's going on here?
He's clearly the softest dual winner of Breeders' Cup
Yeah,
races.
there you go. Race 6 is now going to the Melon, okay? Take note of that. We go from the inner to the Melon. It kicks off the late pick 5. This is a $35,000 3L that they're running for $50,000. Fillies and mares 3 and up. A mile and a 16th, again, on the Melon.
I'll be interested to see what numbers roll for you because I thought, who can't win? Sky Kitten?
Do I have a slash? Yeah, Sky Kitten. The proverbial slash. There it is. Sky Kitten cannot win. So I think that happened 2 times last year. They won. So
I hope we have 6 numbers up here. I'm 8, 5, 10.
Close.
Okay. Choose Happiness. To me, getting to the turf recently. 14 career starts, only 3 of them on the turf. 2 of them most recently. The second one to me is the one that I obviously am seeking to repeat. That was down at Belmont Park in one of those Capital B races. But I think this horse is a good player in here with Dylan Davis back in the saddle in a race that to me is wide open. So to me, you can't take the 5 in second. You couldn't even take him for first. Kitten by the Sea makes the first start for Todd Pletcher for Foley Stables. We can later on we'll talk about pick 5s and how you go about it. But 2 Cent Tootsie for a second. But to me, perhaps the most wide open race on the day. I had just the one horse couldn't win, in my opinion.
I will say this about Kitten for the Sea. I'm not splitting the atom here, but I said this with Seth last Sunday. I think Todd Pletcher is loaded for bear. He did not have a good Belmont, and what that means is when those horses don't cycle through conditions. But I like Jazzy Lady in here, and I had to do some digging. I didn't talk to Ray Handel. Ray trained Jazzy Lady. He also owned her, okay? And then I guess the Foleys privately purchased. Tag team is Greg Foley and Travis Foley. Ray goes back and reclaims her at Churchill. We're going to show this replay on Racing Across America. I mean, yeah, she won by a length. She could have won by 5 if she had the right trip. She didn't. She still won for fun. Ray's not at Churchill. Goes back and claims her. He says she's in for a tag. I want her. I don't know how it all went down. He was the owner of Jazzy Lady back at Turfway when she ran. So I don't know if the Foley's privately purchased, what have you. Point being, Ray wants her back. It's a wide open race. Joel Rosario's here. I thought the race at Churchill was really, really sharp. Put her on top. Albus Star is loose. I don't know if that's good, bad, or ugly on this turf course. We're going to have to find out. She's loose in here. And then certainly Kitten by the Sea is the horse to beat. where you been.
So will you say then but that's a big question on the surface switch from the inner to the melon, right? I think many people around here would think that speed is more dangerous on the inner.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, I do agree with that.
All right. We'll take our final break. When we come back, the final pick 4. I used to not note it in my notes, but I do note it when they switch. I mean, it doesn't happen very.
In the mid-5s, every condo here has 2 bedrooms and 2 baths and upgrades just like this. Check out these oversized private balconies. We also have a gym, a private lounge, and get this, a heated parking garage. To make a reservation for your private condo at the West, call or text me. I'm Scott Varley at 518-281-6808.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Oops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Race number 7 this afternoon. Another 6-figure entry-level allowance on the dirt, going 1.125 miles.
This is a race.
Around.
This is the race I alluded to at the start of the program. This is an entry-level 2-turn dirt allowance race, and we got 12. Look out, Saratoga 2021. It's going to be a hell of a meet.
About the only time I saw that was, remember the year down in Monmouth, they had all that money?
Yeah, they gave that.
They had like 13 horses
Yeah.
running in mile and 16
How'd that work
dirt
out
races. For the owners, pretty
Yeah,
well.
now they're running for 40. 8123 for me. Dust Devil was a private purchase after the Kantamaki barn. Had this one run 3rd. Good figures, buyers, sheets, all of that. When these connections, Wachtel Stable, Bill Mott, they've done some good work with some private purchases. This is a sharp group. They get in when it's good. They did that with, well, it remains to be seen, but they bought Dust Devil off that race. Here he is today. Tactical, the best finisher in the game for my money, Joel Rosario.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a big
There's a lot of opinions at the track, but I think you'd be
Pretty
hard
universal.
to find people that watch racing regularly that offer up a different name.
Yeah, pretty
and that's
universal.
rare in this game.
I agree. I like, he's tactical, as I said. Quick run to the first turn. We should talk about that on opening day. These 2-turn dirt races, very quick to the first turn. You got to be aggressive. Arham is going to be tough for Todd. Puts the blinkers on. He'll be involved throughout under Luis Saez. Number 2, Southern District, got to the dirt for Chad last time and basically freaked. He looked so good at Churchill. And then certainly Business Model, Godolphin Blue Blood, returned at 1 turn after kind of a solid building campaign at 2 for Brendan Walsh. Faces winners today. Got a lot of pace help at Churchill that day. I don't know if he gets as much here. 8-1-2-3.
And it's just a small thing. Do you think the entry is going to run?
Well, different jockeys, so yeah. I mean, that post is tough, but I do think with different jockeys, they will run.
Because I think that doesn't help. I mean, I think you'd get close to 5-2, but I don't think you will with the entry.
No, I agree with that.
You get hurt by it, and I don't think you're getting proportionally helped by the entry mate.
No, you're not getting any help by the
probably
entry
win by
mate.
4.
I don't think, and Arham should be favored anyway.
Right,
but
and you think Southern District will be lower than 4-1?
I
He'll be
don't
second
know.
choice,
Yeah,
right?
he'll be second choice.
I'm 489. Dust Devil to me was for me the place to go other than the entry. I think it's going to sit a very good trip. I think the chance to get over in the 2 path, laying 4 off the lead with Joel Rosario and saving ground on the first turn and up the backside, and probably on the second turn, and then getting out and then hoping that he's fast enough in here. But Dax Daniel, obviously changing the first letters, is my top pick, because I think this is the one that the 9 furlongs is not a question at all. Matter of fact, has run 12 furlongs and 9.5 furlongs on the dirt this spring. Draws inside here with Jose Ortiz. The horse is going to have to run faster than he's run before. If you go by the Beyer speed figures, probably about 2 or 3 lengths, but it's going to be 10-1 in here. And then Claying the Lionheart, number 9, 4-8-9 in the 7th.
Great race. As Anthony said, kicking off that late pick 4. Co-feature, the quick call, is the return of Golden Pal, the Breeders' Cup champion. I know he's Breeders' Cup juvenile turf sprint champion. Who would you ever thought to say that, too, by the way? And he's prepping for a Group 1 across the pond. Brent comes back for the first time since November. These are 3-year-olds, a very snappy 5.5. It's grade 3 this year, too, as well.
Well, you knew that. Well, okay. That's it. To me, it's just who I am, I guess. And I thought Rebel Posse was the one who could scale Mount Everest from the outside with a chance to win, to beat the horse who is probably going to be strongly singled on things that are horizontal wagers.
He might be 1-9 in here. I mean,
and
obviously 2 of these are
price.
MTO, so there's only 7.
Right.
I don't know if, Jackson Traveler's not entered as an MTO, and he did run on the synthetic, so I guess they'll probably run our friends at West Point, but you'll probably, down to 7 in here. He might be 1-9.
I think there are only 2 horses that win the race. I took the one at the longer price, 12-1 or 1-2. I hate to say this, but that's how I roll. But no, it's the horse to beat is Golden Pal. It's clearly.
Yeah, I like what my play here is probably familiar to a lot of people. The favorite's supposed to win, but I like using a price underneath. I'm fine fading Jackson Traveler in here. He's a nice, useful horse for our friends at West Point. 7 for 7 in the exact, but he ran okay at Woodbine last time. But he's lost 2 straight. Too big, the big effort at Oaklawn 3 back. I don't know if he's paying for it a little bit. It was pretty seismic, but he's kind of he's teetered in his form a little bit of late. Now he's trying something new. We're going to have turf with give to it too. So if nothing else, Anthony's pick and my second place finish is familiar with turf. He's 2 for 2 over it. So, but Golden Pal, it's exciting to see him. That's the type of horse you see here at Saratoga on a day in, day out basis. 3 over the 8-9 for me.
The traditional feature on opening day in my lifetime, the Schuylerville 2-year-old fillies going 6.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate if you weren't with us here at the start of the show. I lose my top pick. Pipeline Girl is out, and Happy Soul, who is going to be a very strong favorite, is out with a
2/3 of my selections are
103
out. But I'm left with the one that
temperature.
I wanted.
Well,
but the price
Pipeline
will
Girl
not be
top.
left. So
Well, these are the gals, Schuylerville, 2-year-old fillies, 6 furlongs to grade 3.
it was my introduction to you.
Oh, it was?
He did that part. The odd numbers.
No, that's right. It's opening day. So
I
I lose
understand.
my top pick, and I lose my second pick, actually. So I scratch
my
in
second and third.
to Eagle Express, who I, don't really like.
Which puts my partner in a far worse position than me. My top pick is the only one remaining. I mean, I'm losing the price by a mile. But I like Cartel Queen.
There's still a lot of speed in here, and Cartel Queen's outside of it.
Add
we don't
blinkers.
know why Pipeline Girl scratched, but if you
Right.
want to play this game, why run 2 and 1 can win? And that's what Tom Amos is doing. We don't know what the deal was with Pipeline Girl. But as Anthony said, and it's the same angle I was using with Eagle Express in third, both of them have settled and passed horses. That's a big deal in a 2-year-old race in May and June, and they're both outside.
Yep. So they each have 2 races under their belt. I think in this century, there's only been one winner who's had more than 5 starts. Our good friend Mark Henning's Gold Mover.
Ooh, way back.
Everybody
Remember
else-
Mark had 3 of them
3
that
of them.
year? Gold Mover,
The one that should have been the champ, Raging Fever.
Raging Fever, and
I always forget the third one.
that was a Ned Evans, Raging Fever.
Raging Fever should have been the champ, not Caressing.
Oh,
Take a look
boy.
at those records.
47-1 in the Breeders'
Take a look
Cup
at those
Juvenile
records.
Fillies.
In the finale, mile
Gold
6.
Mover.
Well, I just said Gold Mover.
Raging Fever, Gold Mover out. And
I never forget the third. Remember the
he had
third one.
3 of them.
But 2000 seems like yesterday, boy. State bred 2-year-olds up, maiden special weights, mile 16th on the inner at this time. The get out race that I happen to love today.
This is my best bet of the day. It's not Clever Fellow either, by the way.
It's probably not my horse either.
12-8-2. I love the comeback with Ruse. I mean, it doesn't take a a rocket scientist to say Timmy Hill says, you know what, let's get the tightener out of the way at Belmont. We'll give them heck at Saratoga. They've got this race for me on opening day. Oh, by the way, Lasix goes on. Here we go. Plenty of speed to negate a potentially disadvantageous outside post. You're going to get fair value because they'll bet with both hands on Clever Fellow.
Yes, they will.
And listen, at the end of the day, Clever Fellow is the most likely winner. Why do you want him at 8-7, 8-5? Chad didn't have a great summer up here last year. Let's just be honest with that. I think that's very fair. And so we'll see what happens. But
as I am approaching my 58th birthday tomorrow, I've decided that in sports and maybe in life, it will not be allowed to have trivia questions in sports on anything that happened in 2000.
Okay. Happy early birthday, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. I like this race. I mean, if you're waking up, you see, and you have the morning line in front of you, my top pick is 20-1. And, you know, one of the great things about early in this meet is I handicap the races, and I trust myself doing it long enough that I'm not affected by the morning line, except if they're too low, I don't want them. So when I saw 20-1, I felt great. Making the third start, I draw inside. I'm going to touch on the debut. The second race I thought was very sharp on June 18th. Manny Franco gets to mount back, rode this horse in the debut. We're 20-1. I think I have a live wire in here. I have, you see the 8 underneath. Also Viking Zim, who you do not have in the mix.
You know what? I played this horse last time.
Okay.
I had this horse on top last time. He drops out the back. I need a little more speed.
You don't even have. I don't expect him to. All right. Well, I don't see that.
I don't see that. 12-8-2-7 for me.
All right. Yeah, so we're kind of close. We took different ones. I'll be honest with you, and we'll touch on it more. I thought your horse got one of the good trips.
He did have a good trip
in the race.
No doubt about it.
That I'm playing against the horses that had the inside turf with the rails up that day. But 4-8-7, to me, what I think is a very exciting walkout race today, around 6:13 in the afternoon.
Ooh. Funneling out in the streets around 6:13. I know I will be. All right, last break here on the Handicappers Report. But when we come back, play the day with DePaul Chevrolet with Steve Beck. Good stuff. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Albany County, an incredible destination to live, work, and play, with easy connections to more than a dozen cities from our vibrant modern airport. It's a short trip downtown to a hive of culture and amusement, from world-class shows at the newly renovated Times Union Center to reliving the past at the New York State Museum. From outdoor recreation to shopping to nightlife, Albany County has something for everyone. We'll see you soon.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes. In front, but here comes High Chaparral. High Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Paul Brown. These two arch rivals head to head with Joe Hart bearing down on them. It'll be a 3-horse photo finish in the turn. Here's the wire. Photo finish.
The Capital Region has some of the most sophisticated horse racing fans in the country. That's why Capital OTB built the Clubhouse Racebook. Here you can wager year-round on the best horse racing from around the world. The Clubhouse also has monthly promotions including live bankrolls, handicapping contests, and so much more. Like sports? Watch your favorite teams on more than 30 screens in Legends Field Sports Grill. Food, sports, and the excitement of championship horse racing. Only at the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Buy a Ford your way with DePaula Express. Select your Ford, then complete the sales process from the comfort of your home or in our showroom. Whether it's online or in person, you'll receive full price transparency and a shortened sales process. Do it your way with DePaula Express. Buy a Chevy your way with DePaula Express. Select your Chevy, then complete the sales process from the comfort of your home or in our showroom. Whether it's online or in person, you'll receive full price transparency and a shortened sales process. Do it your way with DePaula Express. Chevrolet, Mazda, Ford, and hundreds of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, that's the DePaula Auto Group. And it's all on Central Ave, in person or online. think DePaula. DePaula Complete. Sales, service, parts, and body shop. DePaulaAutogroup.com.
It's post time for today's DePaula Play of the Day.
At DePaula, we think of our customers as family, so we want your experience here to be fair and easy. Whatever you drive, any make or model, DePaula is at your service with 100 bays and master technicians. So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs. At DePaula, we think of our customers as family, so we want your experience here to be fair and easy. Whatever you drive, any make or model, DePaula is at your service with 100 bays and master technicians. So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
It's post time for today's DePaula Play of the Day.
Hey everybody, Play of the Day on opening day. And first and foremost, want to wish everybody the best of luck on the summer and the season. It's going to be just so much fun after such a difficult year last year. You can feel around town, and when you get to the racetrack, was there on Wednesday, you're going to be greeted, I think, just by this unique atmosphere. As unique as Saratoga is on a regular basis, I think this is going to be one that people will remember the rest of their lives. Let's try to make it memorable when it comes to cashing some tickets. And before we get into opening day's thought, you have to juxtapose Play of the Day as best price of the day, the best possible choice that brings back a good return, or the most likely winner. So part of this exercise is kind of making commitment in one direction or another. My tendency is to reach for typically middle price long shots, and the place I do it most often will be on the grass. I mean, that's where you are getting the closest grouping of horses that have very little separating them. And frankly, I'm sure when we get to the end of the season, to Labor Day, I'll have reached particularly for New York bred allowance condition turf long shots. For my money, you get the best prices in those races. And I'm going to sort of do that with open company allowance in the third race today. We got a 1 mile first level allowance, and Smile Brian is 10-1 for Orlando Noda and company. And this is a horse that is coming back up out of claiming company, but absolutely is competitive with those that have been, running against allowance foes. Since coming back to the grass after the winter, has been really good. Beaten, less than a length in his last two. And Luis Saez seems to be really getting along well with him in terms of having him in the race flow. There is potentially an opportunity for Saez to set the pace with Smile Brian. And at 10-1, I think he's a terrific play. He could wire, he could attend the pace and finish. He's done a little bit of everything, and he really is very consistent on the grass. One thing that dirties him up in terms of his price are those dirt races over the winter. And so people see the 40s and 50 buyers. It means nothing. He's a turf horse. He's a turf horse capable of running in the mid to upper 80s on the buyer scale. On sheets, on third graph, he's right with the favorites in here. And at 10-1, let's make Smile Brian, who is the 3 on the saddle cloth, the play of the day. Good luck, everybody. Talk to you Saturday.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Opening day at Saratoga. Looks like weather is going to be nice. It's going to be a happening today, which it should be. I mean, it's happening almost every day for guys such as ourselves, but fans clamoring to come back to Saratoga after a year off.
Yeah, it's really exciting. It's a one race off the turf today, which I think we probably maybe around Tuesday we would have signed off for that right now. It was coming down.
Oh yeah,
it came down like cats and dogs yesterday at my parents' house in Half Moon. So we're excited. Just one. Race 4 is off. Race 6 goes to the Melon. A few key scratches. in the stakes, so take note of that. Anthony and I will run it. It's like Sports Center here. We run it right back.
Run it right back at
10 o'clock at Racing Across America. We got a cool promotion going on that we just want to hit on from up through July 18th. I had to look at my PPs today, make sure it wasn't July 18th.
That's today. It wasn't July.
What day is it? But deposit
after this
bonus.
week, I'll be in the same boat.
Yeah,
but with my
right?
birthday, I got the days kind of numbered.
Jeez.
But next week, I'll be the same guy.
So deposit 300 more, and here it is here. Thank you, Brian, for putting that up there. Brian in the truck there. Deposit 300 more in total deposits. Wager 600, and you'll get a $300 bonus. So, you know, again, you can't say it enough.
Free money
at the track is pretty heady stuff in this day and age.
The only thing better than a dog and a Coke at the track. We were talking about that off the air.
And the dog's probably about $8. So, I mean, that's a tremendous bonus, and it's just, you know, what better meat to do it.
That sounds like the highest one ever.
Yeah.
I've been around here a long time.
At Saratoga.
That's a big number.
So, that can take you a long way with your 50-cent pick 5s and 4s and 3s and trifectas, which you'll talk about. So, yeah, that's good stuff. And then it'll, you know, we've got lots of different promotions, bankrolls, all that. You check the website, got that exciting pick 5 that we do every week, $1,500 total. You can get in for $50. It opens on Sunday. 20 people can get in for $50, so that's $1,000, and then Capital kicks in another $500. And as a guy that has done this for several years now, putting together a pick 5 syndicate, when you have a $15 ticket, and you use your opinion if you're so inclined, they'll take a consensus as a heck of a lot of bang for your buck on a 50-cent base wager. And the Saturday late pick 5, which is what that promotion plays on a week in, week out basis, that's kind of the coup de grace of the pick 5s up here, because take the Travers out of the equation, but on a I don't use say ho hum, because there's no ho hum Saturdays up here.
One of them.
One of them.
One of them.
4-Star Dave.
We're not going to say it out loud, but it's one we've kind of from time to time said.
If
If I was ever taking a weekend off, it would be this one.
But you know, they're going to be pressing $1 million in that late pick 5 pool. It's a huge pool. It's the best bet in racing. So take note of that. My partner and I will. My partner and I are great friends, but we have a very Felix and Oscar wagering strategy.
But I don't even know how we're doing on time with my wristwatch and this. But what I will say is, like,
you got 12 seconds, so you got no chance.
There's very little.
Stay tuned. That's
very
good.
Little besides.
That's good television right there. First one down. It's opening day at Saratoga. Get out here. You can do that this year. We'd love to see you. It's exciting. Be safe. It's going to be a heck of a day. 10 races. The weather looks beautiful. No excuse anymore. Yeah. So listen, we'll wrap it right now.
Free admission for the fully vaccinated.
Free admission for the fully vaccinated too. So that's pretty cool. We will wrap the Handicappers report when we come back in a very, very short time. We're not hosting the Oscars, so we're not going to change our outfit or anything. We'll be back at Racing Across America. Here we go.
You've been watching the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report has been brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.